Regional integration, third form, social studies. On screen, we have the objectives that we need to complete. But firstly, we're going to look at what is regional integration. Regional integration speaks to regional economic integration specifically, refers to agreement between groups of countries in a geographic region to reduce and ultimately remove tariff and non-tariff barriers to the free flow of goods, services, and factors of production between each country. Our syllabus wants us to identify areas of regional cooperation in the Caribbean. So as a region, the Caribbean cooperates in various areas. We have agriculture, tourism, education, trade, sports, telecommunication, health, climate change and the environment, disaster management, tax administration, security, meteorology, banking and finance, and aviation. So I'm just going to list a few of the names of the agencies that exist. In agriculture, we have CARDI, or Caribbean Agricultural Development Institute. For tourism, we have Caribbean Tourism Association, organization. For education, we have the University of the West Indies. There's also the University of Guyana. Trade, we have Caribbean Export and Investment Agency. For sports, we have the Caribbean Games. For telecommunication, there is Caribbean Telecommunications Union. We have for health, Caribbean Public Health Agency, that's CARFA, that has come into play a lot during the pandemic because they were the ones who have done testing for the different variants of the COVID-19 disease. Meteorology, Caribbean Meteorological Organization. For tax administration, we have the Caribbean Organization of Tax Administrators. For disaster management, we have SEDIMA, that is activated a lot when we have hurricanes in the Caribbean. Banking and finance, we have the Caribbean Development Bank. For aviation, we have Caribbean Aviation Safety and Security Oversight System. Cooperation in education and sports. So for education, we already mentioned the University of the West Indies. There are 3 campuses, one in Kingston or Jamaica, Mona. There's one in St. Augustine in Trinidad and Tobago, and there's a campus in Cave Hill in Barbados. There's a Caribbean Law Institute. There's a Council of Legal Education, and there's also the Caribbean Examination Council that administers examination both at the CSEC and the CAPE level. For sports, we have the Caribbean Games that most Caribbean countries participate in. There's the West Indies cricket teams made up of players from the different territories in the Caribbean. We have the Confederation of North Central America and Caribbean Association of Football, which is also known as CONCACAF. Most Caribbean countries who have a football team participate in CONCACAF. So we're supposed to also outline the stages of regional integration throughout Caribbean history. So we start out with the West Indies Federation that lasted from 1958 to 1962. Initially, it was set up as a means to try to, get out of the whole British monarchy system. We intended to have a prime minister, a cabinet, similar to the system of government that we have now. It's just that it would have been one Caribbean and not, so it would operate as one Caribbean and not as individual countries. Of course, the West Indies Federation didn't last. The decisive development which led to the demise of the Federation was the withdrawal of Jamaica, the largest member. After conducting a national referendum in 1962 on its continued participation in the arrangement, the results of the referendum showed majority support in favor of withdrawing from the Federation. This was to lead a movement within Jamaica for national independence from Britain. It also led to the now famous statement of Dr. Eric Williams, the then Premier of Trinidad and Tobago, that said that 1 from 10 leaves not, referring to the withdrawal of Jamaica and signifying and justifying his decision to withdraw Trinidad and Tobago from the federal arrangement. A short while later, the Federation collapsed in January 1962. So after Confederation failed, there was another attempt called the Caribbean Free Trade Association, CARIFTA. That too was not very successful, but out of CARIFTA, we still have the CARIFTA Games that exist today. There's also a festival that was kind of born out of this, and that also still exists today. Then we have in 1973, there was CARICOM, the Caribbean Common Market. This was established by the Treaty of Chaguaramas, which was signed by Barbados, Jamaica, Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, and it came into effect on August 1, 1973. In July 1991, the British Virgin Islands and the Turkish Caicos Islands became associated members of CARICOM, and Anguilla followed in 1999, Bermuda in 2003, Suriname became a member state in 1995, and so on and so forth. After that, there was the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, the OECS, that happened in 1981. The Organization of the Eastern Caribbean States came into being on June 18, 1981, when 7 Eastern Caribbean countries signed a treaty agreeing to cooperate and promote unity and solidarity among the members. The treaty became known as the Treaty of Basseterre, named in honor of the capital of St. Kitts and Nevis, where it was signed. In 1981, the 1981 treaty was replaced in 2010 with the revised Treaty of Basseterre, creating an economic union, which is an agreement between countries where barriers of trade are reduced, removed, in a single market with a customs union. The Caribbean Single Market and Economy, CSME 2008, is kind of a child and offspring of CARICOM. The main objective of the CSME are full use of labor, full exploitation of the other factors of production, natural resources and capital, competitive production leading to great variety and quantity of products and services to trade with other countries. It is expected that these objectives will in turn provide improved standard of living and work and sustained economic development for member countries and their citizens. Key elements of the single market and economy: there's a free movement of goods and services. There's a right of establishment, meaning anybody from any Caribbean territory can go to another Caribbean territory and open a business. A common external tariff, meaning a rate of duty applied by all members of the market to a product imported from a country which is not a member of the market. There is also free circulation or free movement of goods imported from extra-regional sources, which would require collection of taxes at first point of entry into the region and the provision for sharing of allocated customs revenue. There is supposed to be free movement of capital through measures such as eliminating the foreign exchange contracts, a common trade policy agreement among the members on matters related to internal and international trade, and coordinated external trade policy negotiated on a joint basis. Free movement of labor throughout, meaning if you are from Jamaica and you see a job advertised in Trinidad, you should be allowed to go to Trinidad and apply for that job without any barrier, any restrictions whatsoever. As long as your country is a signatory to the CSME, this should happen freely. In recent years, it has not been going so well, especially for Jamaicans. A lot of times when we go to the ports in, let's say, Trinidad or Barbados, we find that a lot of our citizens are turned back. And the fact that you hold a passport that says CARICOM, this should not happen, but it has been happening. Let us now look at some of the benefits of regional cooperation, specifically those related to CARICOM. It's supposed to create more employment for CARICOM nationals. Goods imported from member states should cost less. There should be greater unity and friendliness among member states. Assistance to member states in times of natural and national disasters. Crime fighting through regional security service. culture should be boosted through Carifesta. Regional cooperation in sporting activities should enhance the skills and talents of our sportsmen and women. There should be greater cooperation among member states through the Caribbean Media Cooperation. Exploitation by transnational corporations should be reduced. And notice I'm saying should be because not everything that is on here has been happening, even though it is supposed to. They are the reasons why the CARICOM agreement or the CSME was signed, but a lot of these things are not happening, so that's why I'm reading it as good. What are some of the problems, or what are some of the factors that hinders us from coming together and really carrying out the full functions of CARICOM as it should be? So let us look at those. Conflict between territorial and regional demands and loyalties. Some governments and citizens may be torn between the loyalty of their own country's needs and the demands of the regional integration objectives. For example, jobs. So there's a job advertised in Trinidad, and then as a Jamaican you go there and you try to get that job. Why should they give you that job over their Trinidadian citizen who has the same qualifications as you? Why should they choose you and not their own country person? So that is one of the factors that has been affecting regional integration. Differences in resource distribution. The unequal distribution of natural resources in the region make those countries with limited resources feel that they would be at a disadvantage when trading with countries that have greater resources. Countries produce similar products, and this may hinder trade relations because it has reduced the opportunity for trade. So if Antigua is trading banana and Jamaica is trading banana, then we have nothing to trade. What are we going to do? Exchange banana for banana? That doesn't make any sense. Then there's competition between countries. There's a competition between countries for the location of new industries. There's also competition in the tourism industry. Differences in stage of growth of development. Some countries are more developed than others, and do you continue to develop your country or you halt your development so you can help another country that is not as developed as yours? What do you do? This has led them to reject or delay implementing some of the integration decisions. Influence of multinational and metropolitan agencies. Some of the countries in the regions are not independent. Example, Montserrat and Anguilla are still subjects to the control of England. An independent state is a country which is not governed or controlled by any other country. So there are a lot of factors that continues to hinder this whole CARICOM thing or the CSME thing that we're trying to achieve. So we continue trying to achieve it, even though in reality we realize that there are more barriers than anything, or do we just scrap it and be each man for himself? What should we do?